Good afternoon and welcome to the Lords Group Trading PLC Annual General Meeting. Throughout this recorded meeting, attendees will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and they can be submitted at any time using the Q&A tab situated in the right-hand corner of your screen. Simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company can review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. I would now like to hand you over to Chairman Gary O'Brien. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the 2024 Annual General Meeting for Lords Group. My name is Gary O'Brien, as I was just introduced a minute ago. I'm Chairman of the company and I'll be chairing the Annual General Meeting today. Thanks to everybody who's joined us via Investor Meet and also in the room, particularly our major shareholder here, James, who attends every year to make sure we're behaving ourselves. We've got two members in the room that I know of, so we can declare the meeting quorum. For this morning's AGM, I have with me around the table, so I apologise for the camera, but right opposite me is Shankar Patel, CEO of the group. Sitting beside Shankar and welcome is Stuart Patrick, who's our new CFO. Just joined us how long ago, Stuart?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Well experienced, indoctrinated. Andrew Harrison, who is our independent non-executive director and our senior independent director. And Sheena Mackay, who wasn't with us last year, who's also just recently, well, not recently, has joined us in the last several months. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Right, before turning to the formal business of the meeting, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that we actually did a trading update release this morning at 7 o'clock. If we can roll the screen up, I will read it out. This, as I say, was registered with the stock exchange this morning at 7 o'clock. So since our trading update on the 15th of May 2024, the revenue has been in line with management expectations. Demand for the group's repairs, maintenance and improvements has focused product offering has been similar to the first quarter of 24, and due to our customer service culture, gross margins have also been maintained. The clean heat mechanism, market mechanism, which we reported had caused challenges in the first quarter, has had less impact on trading in April and May. Alloway Timber, which we acquired in September 23, has now been fully integrated into the group and rebranded as Lords Builders Merchants. 4 of the 5 sites in the southeast of England have been fully refurbished, leading to a strong positive customer feedback. And similarly, Chiltern Timber, which was acquired in April 23, has also now been fully integrated into LBM and operates from its modern specialist timber site in Hemel Hempstead. While challenging macroeconomic conditions have impacted trading at the start of 24, the group is well positioned in a highly fragmented and essential RMI sector, repairs and maintenance and improvements. Our strong customer service culture, combined with a proven track record and selective acquisitions, gives the board confidence that this will lead to a sustainable increase in shareholder value over the medium term. And that's basically the body of the release that we did this morning. You'll be able to get a copy of that from our website, or you can go onto the London Stock Exchange under our name and pick it up from there if you want. Now, Shankar, Chris Day, who was the former CEO, CFO, I should say, gave a presentation on the 15th of May when we actually did the initial results announcements. So I don't intend going through the results in any detail at all. And if you do want to see that presentation, again, if you can go to the Investor Meets file, you'll be able to see under Lords, you'll be able to see that presentation in full. Right, before going on to the formal elements of the business in the AGM, we will be available for questions and answers at the end of the formality, taking questions, and you can submit your questions through the Investor Meet platform or in person, obviously. There was people were given the opportunity to file their questions in advance, and we have had several of those, so we know there are some questions there that we will have to respond to, or we will be responding to. But please, as I say, during the presentation. If there is anything that you want to ask, please submit it via the Investor Meet platform. Right, so thank you for that. I now proceed to the formal business of the meeting. The notice for the meeting was actually filed on the 24th of May, or sent out on the 24th of May to all shareholders. Accordingly, the requisite notice has been given, and I therefore propose that with your consent, the notice of the meeting should be taken as read, and if that's agreed, then I'll proceed to the formalities of the business. Now, for the meeting, in accordance with best practice, all resolutions will be voted on as via a poll. I'm directing the votes be conducted on the poll in accordance with the Article 19.8 of the company's Articles of Association. Polls for anybody present, poll cards were available and can be cast at the meeting today, and are basically the Link Group, who is the company's registrar, will actually summarise those along with any votes that have been received, so we can get the results for all the resolutions at the end of the meeting. I'm going to put the resolutions to the meeting one after the other. The actual terms of the resolutions were set out in the full notice, so I won't go into it in any detail. And just for information, from the voting that we've received to date, we've had in excess of 94% acceptance on all of the resolutions. So, having said that, now let's get into the formality of it. Resolution 1 is the annual report and accounts for the year ended 31st of December 23, being circulated to all shareholders with the auditor's report thereon. I would now like to propose the passing of the first resolution, which is proposed as an ordinary resolution. And we've got two levels of resolution: ordinary, which just needs a minimum of 50% to pass it, and special resolutions, which we will have later on, where we need 75% as a minimum. But as I said, resolution 1 is to receive the annual reports and accounts of the company for the financial year ended 31st of December 23, together with the director's report and the auditor's report on those accounts. Resolution number 2, which again is an ordinary resolution, is to declare the final dividend of 1.23 pence per ordinary share for the financial year ended 31st of December 23. Resolution 3, which I now propose, is to re-elect Andrew Harrison as a director of the company. Resolution 4, again an ordinary resolution, is to elect Stuart Kilpatrick as the director of the company. Resolution 5, again an ordinary resolution, is to elect Sheena Mackay as the director of the company. And in the case of resolution 6, I'm going to pass it to Shankar, as it's concerning myself.
Thank you, Gary. I propose the passing of resolution 6, which is being proposed as an ordinary resolution to re-elect Gary O'Brien as a director of the company. And back to Gary as chair.
Thank you, Shankar. Resolution 7, again, an ordinary resolution, is to re-elect Shankar Patel as the director of the company. Resolution 8, again, an ordinary resolution, is to reappoint RSM UK Audit LLP as auditor of the company to hold office until the conclusion of the next general meeting, at which accounts are laid before the company. Resolution 9, again, an ordinary resolution, is to authorise the directors to determine the fees payable to the auditor. Resolution 10, an ordinary resolution, that the directors be authorised to allot equity securities within the limits set out in resolution 10. And then resolutions 11 and 12, both of which are special resolutions. Resolution 11 is it's subject to resolution 10, the director be authorised to allot equity securities for cash as if section 561 of the Companies Act 2006 did not apply within the limits set out in resolution 11. Resolution 12, that's subject to resolution 10, and in addition to 11, the directors be authorised to allot equity securities for cash as if section 561 of the Companies Act 2006 did not apply within the limits set out in resolution 12. Now, that's all of the resolutions to be proposed. I now declare the poll open. If there are any poll cards to be submitted to the company to the company's registrars, then please submit those. I don't believe there is. But what we will be doing is, once we have completed any poll card summaries, we will basically declare the poll closed, and the results of that will be available on the company's website. We'll have that posted. Right. Okay. So having said that, that really concludes the formal aspects of the meeting. I'll hand back to Investor Meet. They can assist us with taking any questions that there may be for the meeting. So if I can pass back to yourselves.
Perfect, Gary. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions using the Q&A tab situated on the top right corner of your screen. While the company take a few moments to review those questions submitted today, I would like to remind you that a recording of this meeting, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. Gary, we did receive a number of questions from investors online. At this point, if I could just ask you to open the Q&A tab, read out the questions, and I'll pick up from you at the end.
Okay, bear with me for a second while we try and do that. Oh, okay, it's coming up on the screen. So Michael J asked the question: the market is clearly disagreeing with the future prospects of this wonderful company. Why? I'm not quite sure why he's saying the market is disagreeing with the future prospects. But I'm going to pass this to Shankar to defend our position as to why, A, I don't think the market is disagreeing with our future prospects, and B, why we actually, I stated earlier, that the directors and the board believe that in the medium term our prospects are looking strong. So, Shankar.
Thank you, Gary. I think indeed the point is that the company is on track to meet its guided forecasts. We understand that the market sees a lot more than just the performance of the business, and in particular, we believe that the macroeconomic environment is leading the market to take a particularly difficult view of businesses in our sector. But that said, I think as our business continues to perform and in line with our expectations, we see no reason why the market won't correct its view in the future if there is a poorly dim view of our business indeed.
If there is, yeah.
If there is.
Thank you. How does HSS hire? For people who don't understand what HSS hire is in the audience, basically it's a tool hire business which we actually subcontract space to them and operate out of some of our sites. Shankar, how does that concept fit into our business?
So exceptionally, it fits in very well. HSS have a concession agreement with our business whereby they operate from our sites and supply their customers with small tools as well as slightly larger plant equipment. We, in return, receive a commission, which helps to reduce our cost to serve from those locations. But in addition to that, it widens our offering to our customers. It allows us access to their customers, and vice versa. It allows HSS access to our customers. That complements both businesses to be able to reach customers that we wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. And in particular for us, it widens our customer service offering. We are a customer service-based business. This is a product that we're offering to our customers outsourced through our partnership with HSS.
How many units do we have, Shankar? Sorry, this is my question.
We have, I think, 13 locations at this moment in time.
So obviously working well, otherwise we wouldn't.
I might like to add that I think we were one of the first to agree to this arrangement.
Good. Sorry, I did miss a question earlier, which is how is the demand affected by BUS? That's not the red bus. I'm going to pass this one to Andrew. What does BUS stand for?
So BUS is the boiler upgrade scheme. So it's the scheme that the government introduced to incentivise consumers to change their old fossil fuel boilers to a more efficient heat pump via an accredited installer. So it's quite difficult for us to track sales specifically through the boiler upgrade scheme. But what we have seen this year particularly is an uptick in our heat pump sales. So I think anything that the government do to incentivise people to change is welcomed by us.
Okay, thank you. We're coming down to Cheryl C, which was actually pre-submitted to us earlier, as it so happens, but it's now on the screen I can see, who's asking several questions. It's from T, the engagement appeal. Do you know who T stands for, Sheena?
No, but I'm going to find out after this meeting.
Okay, right, sorry. I thought you did, so that's why I asked you the question. But as you can see, basically, I'm wanting to understand how investment through the stock market and the Gen Z generation, how it affects them. So my questions relate to the stakeholder and investor engagement in accordance with Section 172. Can you please scroll down, Andrew? So there's 4 questions here. So we'll start with number 1. If you can go back up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not a good driver of this.
How informed are the younger generation, especially Gen Z, about personal finance, capital markets, and investment? Stuart, can I put you in the hot seat and maybe throw one of these to you?
That's very kind of you, Gary. Thank you. Well, the younger generation, especially Gen Z, are renowned for being financially fit and savvy, and many having retirement plans in place and a healthy attitude to investing and saving. We find they're well informed and are passionate about making a positive impact on the world, and this is reflected in their investment decisions, with many drawn to companies and funds that prioritise ESG criteria and contribute to a more sustainable future.
Thank you. Second question, Shankar, especially with our difficult economic circumstances, what impact do you think, if any, could individual investors deliver to the company's overall performance?
Okay. Well, companies should act in the best interest of all shareholders, whether they hold large or small investments. We have a dedicated channel for investors to contact us and let us know their views all year round via the ir@lordsgrouptrading.co.uk. And indeed, we welcome all feedback and do our best to respond to inbound inquiries in a timely manner. We listen to our shareholders' views, and if accretive to our strategy, we will act and incorporate so that we can deliver the best returns for all our shareholders.
And as you said, we've got this IR Lords Group Trading, which, as it so happens, that's where the questions were first presented to us. So we were able to look at these questions and consider them and respond accordingly. The third question is, in your opinion, what matters most to the younger generation of individual investors? Shankar.
I suppose every investor is different, and we ensure we give as much information as possible to help guide their investment decisions. We're cognizant that many are passionate about making a positive impact on the world, with many drawn to companies and funds that prioritize ESG criteria and contribute to a more sustainable future. I believe our ESG strategy is well laid out, and we are attractive to the younger generation as a result of that particular strategy.
Okay. And the final question is, what more, if anything, can companies like ourselves do to educate, empower, and engage individuals on basic personal finance and investing? I'll take that one. I mean, it's obviously, we're not here to basically educate individual shareholders or whatever generation it is in investing, and we basically don't give investment advice as such. But it is our remit to make sure that we communicate through whatever it is, whether it's through our RNSs, whether it's through our annual report and accounts, to try and give as good a picture as we can of the company, so people understand us as a business, understand what our strategies are and how we're going forward. So I think that's our way of trying to make sure they understand our story. Obviously, it's then down to the individuals as to whether they think that's an investment proposition or not, as the case may be. So hopefully we've answered your questions there. And if we can,
I'm just going to
move further down. Unfortunately, my operator is not very pretty.
Trying to do.
We will be sacked after this meeting.
Nobody told me it won't do it.
No, they've been taken away. That's the only two.
Oh, is that the end?
Yeah.
Can you do it from the other end?
It's
Can you?
I think we might have teased the last two.
Okay.
Yeah, because those two were the last questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case, I think we've probably covered everything that Investor Meet has shown us on the screen. Is there anything else from?
There's two more. Sorry, guys.
There's two more.
Yep.
There's two there. Why doesn't
Oh,
management
sorry.
consider dropping the dividend?
Go and read it out. for
Okay,
me.
why doesn't management consider dropping the dividend and buying back stock, given the current stock price? And also especially considering that the industry is likely near its trough.
Okay. Well, probably I'm going to start off, and then I'm going to pass to Shankar. So I'll do the easy bit. A lot of our investors cover all aspects of investment. Some of that being income funds who are actually looking for income. They're not just looking for capital growth within it. And we're here to try and represent all of our shareholders. Commercially, there might be a different angle on it, but from an investment point of view and our shareholders, we do have to take that into consideration. Shankar.
I think added to that, Gary, is also when we listed, we made a commitment to a progressive dividend policy, which is annually reviewed. It's robustly discussed and debated, and wider consensus is sought from shareholders, from also our financial advisors. Now, in light of the fact that we've always said that the business will try and always aspire to do what it says it's going to do, we have made that commitment, and I think it'll be wrong of the business to renege on that commitment for the time being.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that we don't evaluate our options, and if there is an option for a buyback in the future that might be better or be acceptable, then we would consider it.
Yeah.
But certainly for the time being, we will stick to the commitment that we made just over 3 years ago.
Good. Thank you, Shankar. That's points well added. And is it? No, it's not the final question because another one has just come on, but I'll read that in a minute. Any acquisitions lately, Shankar?
There are always acquisition opportunities, as you know, and our track record over the last 10 years has been of multiple acquisitions in any given year. But at the same time, I've always maintained that the business is one that exercises discipline. And given the current macroeconomic environment, we have to be more selective and find the right time to acquire. That doesn't mean that we won't, and it doesn't mean that we will wholeheartedly do so. It means that when the timing is right and we have the right opportunity, we will certainly not be shy in making that commitment.
Okay, thank you. And finally, thank you very much for your engagement, Mr. Chair and the board. Well done on broadcasting your AGM. This is just a vote of thank you. Thank you.
How very progressive.
We appreciate it. It doesn't happen very often. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I'll probably bring the meeting to a close.
Sorry, anybody from the room?
Sorry,
Where did you finish?
I apologise. James.
First of all, congratulations on the fact you've moved to more environmentally friendly paper, which should appeal to quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you also did mention the fact that you do quite a bit with the £200,000 that you
With the
put in
foundation.
charity,
Yes.
Yeah.
which should appeal to an audience which now moves more towards that. But I was going to ask you, profitability between the merchanting side and the heating side, is that disclosed? Do you find more growth in the heating side, or have you found more growth in the merchanting side?
I'll pass that to Shankar to answer that.
Yeah. So there's growth in both markets. Our markets are indeed, and I'm sure as you know, being involved in our markets for many years, there's growth in both. Okay. The plumbing and heating side has been affected quite substantially through the government policy or the clean heat market mechanism in particular, and that's had a really destabilizing effect from sort of end of Q4 to kind of the end of Q4 23 to the end of Q4 2024. But we now expect to see that normalize with opportunities in the renewables market being firmly established. We wouldn't have liked it to have been deployed in the way that the government decided to, but nonetheless, it is now fully in traction. The merchanting side, so added to that, the plumbing and heating side tends to be a lot more resilient. It's an RMI based business, so effectively on boiler replacements, etc. It's circa 1.2 million one-off boilers a year, and that's quite consistent. So one of our strategies is to make sure that we're part of a large market that is always consistent. That gives us a sort of a high degree of insulation from trading volatility, which tends to be a bit more on the merchant side. In the merchanting side, with house builders pulling back, interest rates at a near peak for many decades, it's obviously going to be impacted until we see an interest rate or a slightly better economic environment. So we've got growth levers in both. They're just for different reasons, and the way that they feed through into growth also for quite different through different channels.
And has that been reflected in profitability?
Sorry,
Has that been reflected in profitability?
has that been reflected in
Profitability, well, the two markets.
We are talking having a different margin between the two markets.
Yeah.
So the merchanting market has always been stronger than plumbing and heating, but our investment into plumbing and heating was for exactly the reason Shanka just said. We looked at the cyclicality of some of these businesses, and although we say RMI is a sustained business because everyone needs to repair and maintain their homes, there is no question that there is ups and downs within the businesses, and both of them complement each other, fortunately. So even though between the years we've actually improved the margins in plumbing and heating because it tended to be very much a boiler business, and Shanka and the team have been taking it down the road of outside of that. And of course, what we haven't talked about is renewable energies and ground and air source heat pumps and things like that, which is a substantial opportunity for us as a group. And the margins there, fortunately, are probably going to be better than the traditional boilers.
So it's highly commoditized after being in.
So will you into the environmental products?
We already have.
Shut him up.
Yeah, so I was going to say our sales last year about £9 million in renewable products.
That covers what sort of product, Stuart?
Well, the whole range is, it's not just the air heat boilers, but it's the whole range of things that go into the whole supply chain.
Yeah,
Valves,
the
supports.
tiling market, solar panels is that match into tiles when you're selling roofing materials.
Correct. Yeah. So that market is growing.
It's certainly it's an area of focus for us going forward.
Yes, yeah. Again, appealing to an audience which is more wrapped into the environmental side of people's businesses.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else from the room? Okay. In which case, sorry, I apologise for that.
Right.
I will now bring the meeting to a close. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. Okay. Great. Okay. You are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Investor Meet.
Perfect, Gary. That's
brilliant.
great. And thank you to the board for updating attendees online this afternoon. On behalf of the board of Lords Group Trading PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's annual general meeting, and good afternoon to you all.
Okay.